So hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Members in the Spotlight by the Belgian-Luxembourg Romanian-Moldovan Chamber of Commerce. I have here next to me our guest of today, which is David Kesteloot, the founder of Akindra Talents. Hello,
Yes.
David.
Thank you.
And welcome to our podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I would suggest first to introduce yourself so our viewers will know more about you.
Okay, so my name is David Kesteloot. I'm actually Belgian born, born and raised in a small village near to the French border. Fell in love with computers when I was 10 years old. Started making my own software when I was 14. Dropped out of school when I was 20, started my own mobile phone and IT company. And ever since in IT markets, first in Belgium, since I think around 10 years, 10, 11 years on the international market, and ended up in 2019 in Romania. At the moment, living with my family in Cluj-Napoca in North Romania and planning to stay here.
And since when you founded the Akindra Talents company?
Akindra is the last company in our family. We started our first company in Romania in 2015, and we started after a very now it has become a successful partnership with our Belgian workforce company. We started Akindra in 2022. So Akindra is actually the youngest one of the family. Our companies are in Antwerp in Belgium, and two here in Cluj-Napoca, and lately, since I think 2 or 3 months, we have an office in Bucharest as well.
And can you share with us since when you are a member of our chamber?
I was a member since 2020. When we arrived in Romania, it was in the middle of COVID, so we couldn't really engage in many organizations. But then we met Alain. And I think for the first time in 2020, we came to the Belgian days to Bucharest. And after that, I became a member, and ever since, a happy member.
Oh, nice then. What do you like best in our community?
It's the companionship. It's meeting people, learning about things, because we have a separate business. So it's, I would say we have a very relationship-based business, which means that we are not always looking into being in organizations where we try to buy and sell something. So we prefer organizations where we can meet people, we can learn about new things, and I think it's the connection is very important. And personally, not somebody who is going to many organizations, to many social events. I'm not really the really social event person. I used to be a programmer, so I'm still in my little dark room. But I really loved coming to the events that Alain, his team, and yourself are organizing. So yeah, the companionship and the people I met.
So you like the networking, actually?
Yes, but the networking on a certain level. You have a lot of networking which is about buying and selling things from each other, which is not my favorite thing.
That is the transactional one.
Exactly. It's more about the companionship, the friendship, meeting people, talking, learning about each other's experiences, hearing other people's stories, being able to tell your own story. This is the point. Like, it's not obliged. The last gathering I was with in Cluj-Napoca, I mean, I met a lawyer. We talked about Romanian history. Like, these things are something I like. I enjoy very, very, very much.
Can you tell us, please, what type of career advice do you live by, and who gave it to you?
I have on the way. I have a lot of people that I learn things from, that kind of inspire me, but the most things, like the main things I'm living off, is I don't see any problems. I don't have any limitations. I think that everything is possible, and I never stop. And with never stop, I mean, I lately read a book from Phil Knight, the founder of Nike, which is an extremely successful company, which tells in his book that for 25 years, every day, he was in financial issues, not knowing how to pay the bills. So that's why he says like it's never give up, keep on going. And this is what I'm going. I have an endless energy. And whenever I see something, I think it's not possible. For me, everything is possible. So this is the thing. And this is also what I would advise to everyone. If you think it's not possible, it is possible.
You maybe didn't find the way.
Exact.
No.
And it's all about believing. It's one day I arrived and I was telling my at that time girlfriend, it's like I want Sony to be my next customer. It's like that's not possible. I mean, you cannot. I mean, how are you going to get it? Like I don't know how I'm going to get it, but I'm going to get it. It took me 1.5 years. I found an entry, and up to date they are still a customer.
So you see, everything is possible. You
Everything
just
is
need to
actually
think
possible.
about it, and it will
Exact.
be materialized. Yeah?
Exact. Life is like a labyrinth. If you are ending up at the wall, just go back, take another turn, and everything is possible.
And let's say if it would be to collaborate with someone, who that person would be?
It depends because you know that there are different type of people. I lately read a book. I love reading books very much. It's called "Surrounded by Idiots." It's not about idiots, but it's actually about the different colors of people. I'm a very strong red profile. So putting another red profile next to me, that might clash. So it's very hard in really typing out a person that I say like these are the perfect people to work with. These are the perfect people to work with. I like to work like the reason why I fit very much with my business partners is because we have the same vision and they let me do. We discuss the vision, we look at the vision, we talk about it together, and then they're like, just do it.
Well, I think this is the best way forward when you work in a team.
Exactly.
So you just need to have the same objective, the same vision, and each of us needs to comply with it and do the necessary steps.
Exactly. But I still believe in, and maybe that's a little bit old-fashioned, I still believe in the fact that there's, in every team, in every pact, there's only one leader. And that is always, this is, by the way, the reason why I sold my first company. Because at a certain moment, we were two captains on one ship. And one wanted to go this way, the other one wanted to go that way, and then you have to separate.
Correct.
So, yeah, there's, in my opinion, in every team, in every pact, there needs to be one leader that gets it into an inspirational part. But I won't say it's easy to work with me because I really have a vision and I sometimes make the joke, you don't have to do things twice, you just have to do it like I'm asking you to do it. So probably it's there's no standards type of people to work with me.
But how would you describe success?
Success is creating a freedom for yourself in any aspect that you want. For me, success is having a financial freedom, which doesn't mean being rich because I'm not really into very fancy things. It means in waking up in the morning and doing whatever you want to do in your life. And it doesn't mean because you want to do or you're doing what you want to do that you're not doing anything. But having that freedom of being able to enjoy what you're doing. Every morning when I go to my office, I enjoy going to my office. I love my company. I love my people. I love everybody I work with. And I would never be able to have a job in terms of having a job and waking up and saying like, I have to go to my job today for 8 hours. That wouldn't be possible. So for me, success is having a kind of a happiness which you create for yourself. Being happy is very vague, but for me, it's like doing what I want to do. I'm a little boy that likes cars and planes. I wanted to fly, so I'm able to fly. I have a pilot license. I wanted a nice car. It's a material thing. It's not important. But for me, it's because something that I enjoyed. I wanted a nice family. So we have a nice family. We have a nice house. And this is a kind of what I would say success. I don't need a big house. I don't need a big car. I just need things and feel the freedom of waking up in the morning. It's like, yeah, it's fun. In the last maybe 10 to 15 years, I never felt that I had to work, which brings for me the endless drive in my company and being able to constantly, I'm 14 to 16 hours in my office every day, except the weekends, then I sleep. And the reason that I don't feel it as working, that it's not a burden, that it's not energy draining for me, this is the reason why I can just continue going. And for me, this is success.
Well, success comes also with challenges.
Exactly.
What kind of challenges are you confronting with, or did you confront, let's say, which were the biggest challenges you confronted yourself over the years?
So, in doing a business, you only have one certainty, that everything changes all the time.
Correct.
Every time it changed. I saw it from the first business, the second business, the third business, the fifth business, every business. If you look at the biggest challenges I had in my life, is the second biggest challenge I had was being on the market too soon, twice. The biggest I had was having a bankruptcy with the company, like having to stop a company, also because we were too early on the market, also because it was in the middle of crisis, although I don't like to use excuses. The challenge that came afterwards to recover from that, because you know how it goes in having a kind of a, you can be involved in as many companies as you want. If you have one company that has a financial issue or a bankruptcy, well, it's like a nice stamp on your forehead. So it took me years to recover from that. Those are more the negative challenges I had. Other challenges that we had, yeah, take into account. I'm a Belgian guy. I run businesses in Far East, in Eastern Europe. It's not that it's a huge difficulty, but for us it's different. First time I arrived in Romania, you have to find an accountant, you have to find the right support people, you have to find your way into the law, you have to understand the people, you need to adapt to that.
Yeah.
And the biggest challenge that at that time you have is that unfortunately there are a lot of specialists on the market. And that's, I mean, I had an accountant that was actually not an accountant and that made mistakes. And when you are a small company, that's fine. When you are a small company, you make €100 mistake, you make a €500 mistake. At the moment, we have become a €1,000,000 company, which means that that €100 mistake might be a €10,000 mistake. And finding the right people, I think it's already our third accountant that we have. Finding the right person that actually can help you in the new environment. Because this is the challenge that, and we get that everywhere in the world. Everywhere you arrive, everybody's a marketing specialist. Everybody can make you the best website. Everybody can give you the best services in this and in that and in that. But you have to find the right ones.
Until you work with them.
Until you work with them, yeah. And the challenge I felt with Akindra, I mean, we still have a lot of challenges, but there are fun ones. The challenge that I had with Akindra in the last 2 years was from becoming a €100,000 company to a €1,000,000 company, because then you are too small to have the real professional services. And not only the real professional services are too expensive for you, so you don't fit anywhere. If you are a small company, if you are a 1-person, 2-person, 3-person company, you fit in a group. If you have a 100-people company, you fit in a group. If you are in between on the way to, it's very hard. You don't really have the place. So you have to look a little bit into that, making a choice. You know, are you going to take a 250 square meter office? Are you going to take a 500 square meter office? Because you don't know how many people you have now, how many people are going to have tomorrow. But for me, these are...
How many come to the office?
Exact. And I mean, that's a different story. It's the whole change that you had after pandemic. You can see that there is, at the moment, it might be a little bit blunt, nobody agrees, or not everybody agrees with it, but having full remote teams is not always the best thing to do. I do believe in the distribution of knowledge, which means that lately I hired somebody from Brasov because the person has a certain knowledge that we needed for a client. So he is at his home, he's working fully remote. This is the only person that works fully remote for us because I believe in collaboration. If you have an office, a nice office in the middle of the center of Cluj, like we have, if I can say it myself, people live around the corner. They can just come to the office. I think it's more important at the moment to create flexibility. We create a nice office, we have a nice place to commute, we create a flexibility in terms of, I have an assistant who comes at 6 in the morning, I have people that come at 10 in the morning. So they can choose it. They can have this flexibility, what fits best for them. Because
And
my
to
assistant...
be there and to interact between each other.
Exact. My assistant wants to come at 6. After that, he wants to go home early in the afternoon so he can go to his daughter. I have other people that first want to bring their children to school. It's all how you make it and how you commute with each other. So I know that some companies do it a little bit blunt at the moment. There are companies that really say like, okay, you all have to come to the office immediate back. We are lucky that with Akindra we were founded after the COVID period, so that really you have to work from home. We didn't have that situation. So everybody who's working at Akindra already used to the situation of our commuting in the office.
Because you started like this actually.
Exact.
Well, I would propose to you to let's go to some fun facts about you and Akindra. Let's talk about your hobbies. You said that you like cars and planes.
Yes.
Something else which you would like to share?
As I told you, I spend a lot of time on my company, because my company is actually my hobby.
The biggest.
That's my biggest hobby. Fun things that people don't know about me is I'm a huge Lego fan. Lego is not for children. I mean, it is for children, but you also have Lego 18 plus. So I have a massive collection of big cars Lego that I built myself. Everything is surrounded around cars and planes since a young age. When I was young, I wanted to be a fighter pilot. So I wanted to go into the army, but I was wearing glasses. So it was not possible. At that time, they were very strict, so it was not possible. So it was kind of a little crash of a dream. Then later, I wanted to get a private pilot license, but I mean, it's quite expensive. So at least until between my 20, 30, it wasn't possible. And then at last, I think around 40-ish, I was able to take my private pilot license. So a lot of things are around flying. I'm very crazy about planes. I like to fly a lot myself. I like to involve in that. And last but not least, I like to read a lot. And
What
I'm
kind
a big...
of books?
It depends. It's usually it's biographies. I like to, but mostly about tech people. I mean, I'm in the tech world, so I'm recently reading Johnny Ive, which is the person that basically he's the designer behind many Apple products. Of course, I read all the classicals ones, Steve Jobs. This is the type of books that I like. I like business strategy books. Or inspirational books. And the moment I finished lately Stephen Bartlett, CEO of Diary of a CEO. I am rereading. I already read it a few times in different languages. Think and Grow Big from Napoleon Hill, because I'm a big Napoleon Hill fan. I'm reading Johnny Ive at the moment as well. So usually the biographies are a little bit more to enjoy. I'm using Your Next 5 Strategical Steps I'm reading as well. So it's mostly everything is related to business, sometimes to planes and or to IT and technology. And when I have the time, because I fell in love in 2015 with Romania. So I came to Romania as every Western European coming to Romania. The first time I was in a taxi, I was looking on my Google Maps to make sure that the taxi was bringing me to the to the right hotel, and I learned. I came into the country, I discovered it, and even now I love the history. So I'm learning a lot about history. I like to read books about history, listen to older stories, going to the countryside when we have the time. Last weekend we were with the family in Rushka, in the mountains. So I come from an industrial environment, because Belgium, it's all concrete, it's buildings.
And Antwerp.
And Antwerp, it's nice, beautiful city, historical city, etc., etc. I mean, the highest point in Belgium is 400 meters, I think. I mean, even our house now where we live next to Cluj is higher than that. So when I come into the mountains, when I come into the nature, when I come into the basically a little bit into history. I mean, you still see the people with the horse and carriage, and if you're really on the countryside, that's for us. This is cruising around with the car. Oh my God, yeah, it's a relaxing part. When I really want to relax, our family lives in Satu Mare, which is 2.5 hours driving. This is an enjoyable thing, which is actually a fun fact. Because let me tell you something. When I was born, when I was raised, when you had to do half an hour drive, it was like traveling. When you were going from where I was born to Brussels, it was 1 hour driving. It's like, wow, it's like traveling. And now here, this is what I learned. This is what I like so much. And it always surprises me. Like, we are going on a Sunday morning to Satu Mare, 2.5 hours driving, and in the afternoon we come back. It's a normal thing to do. And I mean, with the roads, okay, the roads are not perfect in Romania, but with the environment, with the nature, yeah.
That's what I was trying to say, that, okay, we don't have so many highways, but at least the roads, mainly in the country, they have so many nice views.
Yeah, they are beautiful.
So, talking about, so let's stay on the same subject about traveling. What's your favorite place since you traveled?
An environment in the Far East, and I'm a huge fan of Singapore. Singapore, Japan, Vietnam, Thailand. This comes because of former projects. I led big security projects all over the world with a reporting office in Singapore. So I was a lot in Singapore, I was a lot in Thailand. I like the Far East, first of all, the food. I like the environments, I like the chaos. They have a certain way of being in a chaos, but still being organized. It's like an organized chaos. So yeah, you will never hear me talk about more going west side. You will never hear me. I'm not a big fan of America. I'm sure there's a lot of nice places in America, and I'm also sure there are a lot of nice people, and I also know that a lot of people like the country. For me, it doesn't attract me. I like more the eastern part. So if we go on a holiday, usually we go in this direction.
David, thank you so much for accepting our challenge to speak at our podcast.
With pleasure.
And for you, if you liked what you saw, don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and come to our events to meet nice Belgian people like David.
Exactly.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.